It's the middle of the week, but we're still doing our mayor chat, and we've made our way back to Huntingburg. Denny Spinner's here. Seems like you were just here.
I've been here for a long time. I've been here since Monday, waiting for you to come for Monday with the mayor, but it's now Wednesday, and that's okay.
Such is what happens on a holiday. So we got a lot of projects. I know, stop me if you've heard that before, but this time we're going to go with the 4th Street water line.
Coming up on the council meeting on Thursday night, Water Superintendent Todd Williams will be before the board with a representative from Midwestern Engineers, Richard Birch, to discuss the 4th Street water line replacement project. That project has been long discussed. The line here is over 100 years old and was in need of attention. We've looked at several options on how to address that repair. And most recently, Todd and Mr. Birch made a trip to Illinois to see a new technology that is being used in this type of project, which is a cured-in-place water line project. We contracted with Midwestern to help us write the specifications for a project like this, and on Thursday night, they will be coming back with their report and their recommendations. What they did find is that the project that they were able to view in Illinois was a very large project in a residential area, and what they were able to see is that the minimal amount of disruption and impact it had in those neighborhoods, which is something that we've been striving for, is that, of course, this line goes right down the middle of our main business area. We want to have this project done as efficiently as possible, minimal amount of disruption for our businesses and for our citizens who are shopping on 4th Street. So we believe that this approach is something that needed to be explored and looked at very closely. So Todd and Mr. Birch will be coming before our council on Thursday night with their recommendation on how to proceed. And should we go with this type of technology, which is somewhat new to Indiana but is being used across the Midwest, the project cost will be approximately the same as a traditional trenching and replacement project, but we believe that there will be a minimal amount of disruption. The time frame for the project will be reduced significantly, and we just think it's a good possibility for a new idea. And if it's successful here, on 4th Street, we're looking at ways to continue that type of technology in other areas of the city, the same amount of savings, the same amount of time savings that we would have in other areas where water line needs to be addressed. So looking forward to that report on Thursday, and the council will be making some decisions on that that evening.
Other areas specifically you can think of?
Well, there are a couple of lines. For example, one area at our last council meeting, I think you heard a report from Gary Meyerholtz, our water crew chief, that said, there's areas on Jackson Street, lines that have had some problems for some time. And if we use this technology here and it works well, I think there are some significant lines elsewhere in the city that could be candidates for this same type of treatment.
Now, with all the stellar projects and the 4th Street projects, we kind of forget you have just regular street projects, so you got some bids for those. Right.
Earlier this week, our Board of Public Works received the bids for the street projects that are out there for this year. We are reviewing those bids and going to be notifying the contractors for that. But we're talking about a total of about $278,000 in paving projects across the city. The number of projects may not be as high as have been in past years, but you have increasing costs. Fuel and paving costs are going up, but we think we've identified the major projects that should be done before the end of the year. The 3 projects that are at the top priority are on 1st Street, right in front of the police station that's undergoing the renovation, and the Maple Park project was underway. So we're hoping that project gets done after some of that major construction is done, but it's scheduled to be done before the end of by Thanksgiving is the deadline for that project. Another major project is on 3rd Street. I think everybody has seen the work that has gone on there between Main and Geiger. Completion of that project will happen. And also on 10th Street, which has been a major project, about a 2-year, 3-year plan. And that 10th Street project is more than just a simple repaving. We've basically rebuilt that entire street east of Van Buren Street, and a project that involved nearly every department. I mean, we had utilities involved there. We had everything that had to be reconstructed, and that's a major corridor on the northeast side of town. A lot of traffic going to the OFS headquarters through that area. And so that total rebuild was not just your typical paving project. It was a total construction project, and that will be completed as well. Then there'll be some other streets that are part of that package that we're working on timelines on that. But a total of roughly $278,000 in paving projects, and this does not include the paving projects that will be opened on the coming week from the Redevelopment Commission, projects that are included as part of paid for through our TIF districts, and that includes a major project on Chestnut Street south of 6th Street. So that project will be let in the next week and will continue as well. So a lot of street paving going to be happening in the next few months.
Now to get some state highways around here done.
We have been involved with the state highway asking for those repairs. Requests have been placed, and they're in the proper hands, and we can just hope that we're successful in those requests.
And you're among many with that.
Absolutely. It's not everybody across the state, I think, is having that same issue.
Okay. Moving now to kind of our fun little ending. You had a couple of good events this past weekend.
Right. We had a wonderful event at the city park with the Latino Heritage Festival, our third one here in Huntingburg, and I want to congratulate Alasi and their leadership for putting together a great festival, lots of great music and outstanding food. If you missed the food, you really missed something, because it's an amazing amount of work that went on by all the groups that supported that. And I want to thank them for their dedication and their pride in celebrating their heritage here as part of our community. And I think we're just going to see that continue to grow. It's kind of a dry run for the next festival that's going to go on in the city park, and that's, of course, our Herbstfest, which is coming up the last weekend of September. We'll have a 4-day celebration there to wrapping up with the parade on Sunday, but just looking forward to that event. If you haven't got your Herbstfest bunting yet, you're still contact the committee or call here at City Hall. We'll help you get in touch with that. But I see it going up across town, a lot of things getting ready, and again, that Herbstfest committee does an outstanding job of organizing every year, and we've had tremendous crowds the last 3 or 4 years. And like all festivals, there'll be a lot of food, a lot of fun, and a lot of music, and a lot of participation. So we just look forward to having another opportunity for our community to get together and celebrate what Huntingburg's all about.
So if you miss the Latino Fest, do you become forgiven if you get to the Herbstfest and eat that food?
Sort of, I guess so. You missed an opportunity, but there's another opportunity to come out and enjoy the camaraderie. Yes, we'll give you a pass this year, but make sure you get to the Latino Fest next year.
Good enough. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
That's been Monday with the Mayor for this week. On Wednesday, we're back after this.